life, I think. Actually, I think ideas, they come from everywhere.
If I'm trying to think of an idea, nothing will come. But if I'm just driving down the road, I will suddenly be like, oh, that's a great idea for a film.
I've got this little high bounce ball, which I bounce around my room. And I go to this meditative state where, you know, I kind of try and find what I really want to say.
The best ideas tend to come from this other obscure place called the subconscious or the heart.
You're going to be having ideas constantly. I think that good ideas come from you being able to recognize which ideas are particularly interesting to you.
Man, ideas come in the dead of night sometimes. Ideas sometimes come while you're waiting to board a tram.
Ideas can come from a song.
Video games.
From sports.
In the middle of an argument.
It could be nothing related to the film at all, but if I feel that it evokes the same sort of emotion or tone or mood for the film, then I just use that.
I think ideas come from the desire to speak to someone about something new.
So for Book of the Old Ways, for example, I was sitting in my room, I was listening to the soundtrack of Violet Evergarden, which is this sappy anime which I adore. And as I was sitting there listening to this music, I saw this image of this boy clutching at his mum in the rain. And I didn't know what it was. I was just like, whoa, I don't know where this has come from. I don't know what this means, but it means something. And so I held on to that image, wrote it down, drew a little picture of it, and a little storyboard sort of thing of it. And then from there, the idea began to blossom.
When you build a story, you're providing a context and a framework for your idea to make sense.
That's what's beautiful about film. You can kind of just create context and time and stuff like that and explore whole new things within that theme or that original concept that you had.
Within me, these images connect up and that there's some kind of emotional something I'm connected to there, which then I can try to tease out some actual plot or story or character, I guess.
I'm just figuring out the why, and why I'm making this certain film or this idea. I mean, if I don't figure out the why, I don't feel like it's a story worth telling. I always have this mindset where I'm like, fuck the rules, man.
It's music. It's funny, music and rhythm. So sometimes a piece of dialogue sounds like a tapping of a drum kit, and you're like, ta 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 ta.
Like everything is more about the story rather than, you know, about my ego.
3-act structure, the hero's journey, all of the different paradigms that we work in conventional storytelling exists because it's effective and efficient. But I think we can use those rules to say something new when we innovate.
That's the thing. The rules.
Getting started is the hardest part.
It feels like you're trying to suck blood from a stone getting that script out.
Possibly the worst thing ever.
This thing called a vomit draft.
It's terrible. The first time you are faced with that blank page and you sit down to write.
Sisyphus pushing that shit uphill.
Actually, I think, I do believe that the first draft is always the best.
Because once you have a base, then you know you can start going through scene by scene. Why doesn't this work? What is this scene's purpose? What is this telling me? What is the total arc? You know, where do I want this to go? How do I want the audience to feel at this point in the story? And that's very difficult to do when it's still in your head. It's much easier to do once you have a first draft, regardless of how bad the first draft is.
You're like finally like, oh, I've put out the time to write this all down, but when you actually kind of read it out loud, sometimes it just like, it's not executed how you imagined, and you're like, okay, this needs work.
If you get to the fourth draft and you hate it more than the first draft, something's wrong, you know? I would throw away all those drafts, go back to the first and think about what is it in this that really makes me want to make this film?
Because the first draft is the one which is most related to the original reason you want to write this story.
Comb through these scripts and see what was consistent. What was the thing I couldn't let go of?
The more resources and abstract images, words, anything that I've gathered will immensely help that process.
When this moment strikes and it becomes more clearer and you can feel it, that's the thing, you'll feel that. You know, when you feel that instinct, it's there, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've written it because you felt it.
I don't think you ever know when a script is ready to be turned into a film. But I think that there's a point where you need to stop torturing yourself.
Script is never going to be perfect. And you'll get into a point of diminishing returns where you keep working on it, and it's actually going to make the script worse. So I think as soon as you get to a point where you can see it and you feel excited to shoot it, that's when you go and shoot it.
The more you sort of stress about not coming up with an idea, the longer it's going to take. So you might as well just relax into it. Just enjoy the process of playing games and watching films and just filling up your creative tank.
Shouldn't be really focusing on, you know, the end goal. Just really enjoy the process to let go and find out what things can be instead of what it should be.